Welcome to SRIRAM's IAS. So today we'll continue with our series of previous year question discussions about ancient history. So now today we'll be taking up 2022, 21 and these kind of years. So without wasting any time, let's move to the question number 1 for the today's session. So the first question today which we'll be dealing with is going to be Yoga Vasisht, about Yoga Vasisht. Yoga Vasisht was translated into Persian by Nizamuddin Panipati, okay, during the reign of. Now the thing is, what is Yoga Vasisht? Yoga Vasisht was a book which was written about the various, what we can say, it's a small canon on the yoga and other kind of these kind of things. And it was translated into Persian by Nizamuddin Panipati during the reign of Akbar. Okay, they translated it into Farsi. So this was translated during Akbar, and during Akbar's reign, a lot of the translations also happened, like Mahabharat, Razmnama, and all these kind of translations, Ramayana and all. So Akbar was very much keen into what exactly is supposed to be translated, and he got it covered during his own reign. So the correct answer to this particular question is Akbar. Now the next question is, what idea the next question gives us is very important. The idea basically it gives is that while you study ancient history, you need to take care of all the basic things which are in current also, which are being talked about in current, or our Honorable Prime Minister visiting, or some other important dignitary visiting those all places. So all those things are become very much important for you all. So while reading this question, try to take interest in what is the context of this particular fact. Here, the world's second largest statue is sitting pose of Ramanuja was inaugurated by Prime Minister of India at Hyderabad recently. Which one of the following statement correctly represents the teachings of Ramanuja? Now see, they are setting a context here. What is the context in this case? The context is that Prime Minister visited and inaugurated world's second tallest statue. The tallest one we all know is Statue of Unity of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So this is the tallest statue in sitting pose. That is in standing pose, the tallest one. This is in sitting pose, the world's second largest statue. The first one is, as far as I remember, is Buddha statue. So what is the correct answer to it? So while getting into this particular question, what you need to take care of is that who was Ramanuja? Ramanujacharya was the proponent of Bhakti movement. As a matter of fact, the wave of Bhaktism in North India was propagated by Ramanujacharya only. And he was a Vedant philosopher, and to be precise, he was a philosopher of Visisht Advait. Okay, qualified monotheism. So he was more into Bhakti, and what he basically believed in is that Bhakti is, or devotion is, best form of the life which one can lead. And that is how one can meet the God. So that's why the correct answer to this is going to be the best means of salvation was devotion. The best means of salvation was devotion. That was the idea of Ramanujacharya. And this statement is, the A is absolutely right about Ramanujacharya. Okay, so the correct answer is A. Moving ahead to the next question. Now again see, in the same year, similar kind of questions appeared that Prime Minister recently inaugurated. See, so what you can decipher out of this, that these all junctions, or wherever Prime Minister visits or some other dignitary visit, I'm repeating this because this is very important, that all those places need to be taken care of. So the question is, Prime Minister recently inaugurated the new circuit house near Somnath temple at Veraval. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Somnath temple? Now you see the catch here. They are actually asking things about Somnath temple only. In the earlier question, they were talking about Ramanujacharya only, but they gave a context to it. So what we get out of context is that we need to be very much aware about our surroundings. And once we are aware about our surroundings, then we can take care of these kind of questions. The first point is, Somnath temple is one of the Jyotirlinga shrines, which is absolutely right. There are 12 Jyotirlings, and they are very important from Saivism point of view. So Out of these 12 Jyotirlings, one is Somnath temple. What about the second statement? The second statement is a description of Somnath temple was given by Al-Baruni. This is also right, and in this he mentioned how Muhammad Ghaznavi desecrated the whole temple and how he looted it. He gave a reasoning to that also, but this was the Jyotirling which Al-Baruni mentioned in his book. Which book? Kitab-ul-Hind. Now, Kitab-ul-Hind is a very important book because it was one of the earliest books chronicled about India by a person of a foreign origin. Of course, Megasthenes also wrote about Indica, he wrote about Patliputra. But Kitab-ul-Hind was all about the present day North India, that what was the culture of this region and what all is happening here and what all during Islamic invasions, during the invasions from Central Asia, how they proceeded in Indian subcontinent. So all these facts are given in Kitab-ul-Hind. So the second statement is also correct. Now what about the third statement? Pran Pratishthan of Somnath temple, installation of the present day temple, was done by President S. Radhakrishnan. See the thing, what is the thing here? The thing is, now these kind of facts, how will you understand these kind of facts, or how will you reach these kind of facts? Reaching is another issue because these are tidbits. Okay, these are trivias. Now trivia by nature of it is trivial by nature. So unless you focus on the current happenings, that Prime Minister visited this place, you won't be able to read or understand these kind of facts. So that's why in order to be in touch with this kind of trivia, you need to be very much aware about the various dignitaries and their visits in India. So what about the third statement? Now the third statement is incorrect. See, such a trivial thing and still it is incorrect because it was Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Rajendra Prasad was our first president. And S. Radhakrishnan at that point in time was the vice president. So it was Rajendra Prasad who conducted the Pran Pratishthan or the installation of the present day temple. Whenever a temple is installed and the deity is installed, like it recently happened in Ayodhya temple also, that event is called Pran Pratishthan. So the third statement is incorrect because the fact which is written here is S. Radhakrishnan, but the correct fact is Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So the third one is incorrect. So 1 and 2 is correct. A is the right answer. Okay. Now moving ahead to the fourth question. With reference to Indian history, consider the following texts. It is saying Niti Prakran, Prashishta Parvan, Avadhanath Shatak and Trisha Tilak Kashna Mahapuran. Okay. Now these four texts are written. Okay. These are four pieces of literature. Now they are asking which of the following are Jain texts. इनमें से Jain text कौन से हैं? Now you need to understand that Niti Prakran, okay, and Avadhanath Shakt, these two are Buddhist. But the rest two, Parishta Parvan and Trishal Tilakashna Mahapuran. Now see, don't get confused with Mahapuran thing, because Mahapuran will basically confuse you that, okay, this particular thing could be related to Hinduism. But this is wrong. Both of these texts have been written by Hemchandar. Now who was Hemchandar? In 11 to 12th century, Hemchandar was based in Gujarat, and he was a Jain, we can say Jain literary person that who wrote all these texts in for Jainism. Rest two belong to Buddhism. Niti Prakran is very much famous. It is a Pali canon written in Pali, and Avadhanath Shakt is Sanskrit, is written in Sanskrit. Okay, so the correct answer is 2 and 4. The correct answer is B. Fine. Now these kind of words which are really very hard to be pronounced, you need to break them up and try to remember it, or make some mnemonics through which you can remember all these terms. because these kind of terms can really cause issues to you during the real exam, during the CSE 2025 pre. So for that you need to break these words or make some mnemonics out of them to understand it, to be able to remember it. Okay. Now the next question is, with reference to Indian history, consider the following pairs: historical person and known as. Aryadev. Aryadev was not a Jain scholar. He was a Buddhist scholar. And he was the disciple of Nagarjuna, a very famous Buddhist, we can say Buddhist scholar, Nagarjuna. So Aryadev was the disciple of Nagarjuna. So the first one is incorrect. Now Dignag. Dignag is again very famous Buddhist scholar. So this is absolutely right. And Nath Muni, Vaishnava scholar. Again this is right. Now Vaishnavism, जो cult है, the Vaishnavism or the Vaishnavism which started, he was the first monk of Vaishnavism in India. So Nath Muni is very important figure for Vaishnavism sect. So that's why 2 and 3 are correct. So only 2 pairs are correct. Fine. Now moving ahead to the next question. According to Kautilya Arthashastra. Now see, the thing is, first you need to know that Arthashastra was written by Kautilya. This is a very important fact. But what about the other facts? Now what about the other facts? See, you need to understand what Kautilya Arthashastra used to say. Kautilya Arthashastra, as the name goes, people usually, because of the earth written here, okay, they just concur that it has more to do with economics or finances. But this is not right. It is to do with polity. The kind of polity which existed during that period, during Mauryas, it is more about that. So the polity, the society and all these kind of things, the social norms, all these have been written in Arthashastra. So the first statement says that a person could be a slave as a result of judicial punishment. It basically suggests that a person who has been caught doing something and is given a punishment, he can be put under enslavement also. So this is absolutely right, because slavery was very much prevalent at that point in time, and slavery was considered as a punishment only, because one need to take, what they used to say is that a slave need to do a lot of what we can say goodwill, so as to not to be born as a slave in the next life. So that's why in the present life a person is not following the law or doing something illegal, illegitimate, then he can be or she can be punished to be under enslavement under someone. Okay, so the first statement is correct. Now what about the second statement? If a female slave bore her master a son, she was legally free. Now again this is absolutely right, because a female slave, if they have a kind of relationship with the master, then because of her getting into a relationship with the master, she could be made free. She could be made independent or legally free, because she bore a son from the master, and master had all the right to do all these kind of things. So this kind of society prevailed during that period, and we can see the glimpses of these kind of things in present time also, because a lot of people try to uplift their social status by marrying into a richer family or a more established family. So this prevails during these times also. So the second statement is also correct about Arthashastra. Now what about the third statement? If a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. Now this is also right. See, if the second statement is correct, so that means that bearing a son from the master, or of course gives you a kind of social upliftment. A legal status of person is uplifted. So the third statement, by the logic of second statement, of course can be right, and it is right, that if a son born to a female slave was fathered by her master, the son was entitled to the legal status of the master's son. Okay, and a person who has been born out of the relationship of a slave woman along to her master, then the son can claim into the property of the master. So these kind of things were allowed during Maurya's times, and it has been very explicitly written in Kautil's Arthashastra. So all the statements are absolutely correct. Okay, now moving ahead to the next question. Now see, now this question is more to do with Harappa culture and in Indus Valley civilization, and you need to understand that Indus Valley civilization was very, very, very advanced as far as those times are concerned. There are drainage systems which have been discovered, there is town planning which has been discovered, and these kind of things have been discovered. So you need to understand that which features a particular Harappan site had. It is very important. It is not only important for your prelims exam, it is also important for your mains exam, because you need to mention those sites to substantiate your answer. Okay, so the question says, which one of the following ancient towns is well known for its elaborate system of water harvesting and management by building a series of dams and channelizing water into connected reservoirs? Okay, it's an elaborate drainage system. This kind of drainage system is not even available in today's times in tier 2, tier 3 cities in India. But at that time, they were able to achieve this kind of intricate drainage pattern. So the correct answer to this is Dholavira. Okay, Dholavira is situated in Rann of Kutch, and during excavations, what our archaeologists found is that it had a very intricate drainage system, very elaborate, very, very refined. So the correct answer to this is Dholavira. Okay, you need to remember these kind of facts, because these kind of facts can come in your upcoming exams also. They will ask something about Kalibangan. They will ask something about Rakhigadi. They can ask anything about Ropad. Okay, some particular feature with which Ropad is associated. So these kind of things can be asked to you, and then you will have to handle these kind of questions. And without knowing that what special features these cities had, you will not be able to solve that particular question. So try to understand. You need to read each and every site of Indus Valley civilization, because it's a crowning glory of our ancient India. So that's why take care of these kind of questions. Okay, now the next question is, from the decline of Guptas. Now this again is a very important question. It's a new pattern question which has started coming up in UPSC CSE. It came in 2021. So what it basically asks, this question asks you that from the decline of Guptas until the rise of Harshvardhan ke rise tak, till the Harshvardhan came into picture. Okay, Harsha of Thanesar of Pushyabhuti dynasty. So in the early 7th century, which of the following kingdoms were holding power in northern India? So this is a very particular question. They are asking that before Harsha came into picture, which all empires appeared in North India? Now why they are being very much particular about talking about Harshvardhan? See, Harshvardhan for all practical means in northern India was the last great ruler. After that, you will find great rulers in southern part of India, in imperial Cholas and all these kind of places, or in Deccan. During Satavahanas and all, during Deccan you will find these kind of rulers, but not in northern India. So he was one of the last great rulers of northern India in the ancient period. So that's why this question has been drafted in such a way that you need to understand that what was the polity of that time. Regarding the political situation of country, they have framed this question. So what are the options here? The Guptas of Magad. Of course, Guptas of Magad came before. From the decline of Guptas, the Guptas of Magad is a part of this. From the decline of Guptas until the rise of Harshvardhan, they are asking. So of course, during the decline of Guptas of Magad will of course be there in the northern part of India. They will be active there. Then what about the Parmaras of Malwa? Now Parmaras of Malwa is absolutely wrong, because they appeared in 7th to 8th century. Okay, so they appeared after, or their kingdom came after Harsha's time. So that's the second is incorrect. Pushyabhuti is a Thanesar. Pushbhuti of Thayasar, Harshvardhan belonged to Pushbhuti of Thayasar. He belonged to this particular dynasty of Thanesar, and Harsh is sometimes known as Harsh of Thanesar. Okay, it is in present day Haryana. Harsh of Thanesar. Okay, so third one is right. First is right, third is right, second is not correct. The Mukhris of Kannauj, again this was a very important kingdom before Harsh, and Harsha's sister was married to Mukhris of Kannauj. Okay, so this is also right. The Yadavas of Devgiri, no, this is wrong. They appeared around 11th-12th century. Okay, so again this is incorrect. Now Maitrakas of Vallabhi. Maitrakas of Vallabhi is again correct. Now who were Maitrakas of Vallabhi? After Guptas declined, Maitrakas appeared in Vallabhi region of Gujarat. So that's why this is also correct. So the first one is correct, third one is correct, fourth one is correct, and sixth one is correct. So the correct answer is B. 1, 3, 4 and 6. Okay. So that is all for today's session. We'll be concluding this session because we have very less questions left in our ancient part. We'll be moving towards medieval history. In the next session, we'll be taking care of the questions of 2021 and we'll go till 2020, and then we switch to medieval part. Medieval of course has less questions, but they are very important and we need to understand what theme they belong to, because once you will find the theme, you'll be able to handle these kind of questions. So that's it for today. Thank you.